the Cornhuskers of Nebraska, traveled over to the Fighting Sanders. And there's 3 Sanders, one coaching, one quarterback, and one on defense. How'd the game go to you? What do you think?
Well, I thought that it was going to be a pretty good game for a while, but Nebraska's quarterback and actually my host threatened to not even watch no more of the game because he fumbled 2 snaps and unforced. And even the announcers were saying, you've got to get him out of there. He is killing you. And but then he broke a long run. Colorado was up 13-7. Colorado was not doing much. Sanders was getting sacked, wasn't throwing for a lot of yards. But I'm telling you, Matt, after it became 13-7, they just took off and had a field day. He finished with 393 yards passing. They finished with close to 500 yards of offense. Nebraska defense had to stay out there a lot.
They got their defenses. They're better than TCU.
Nebraska was a better defensive team than TCU, and I think Nebraska may be okay on down the road, but they got some big offensive problems in the second half, especially the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
and late third. Colorado exposed it. So hats off to Dion and his boy. He's already thrown for 900 yards in 2 games. How did Hunter do you? It wasn't Hunter yesterday. It was that Weaver.
Yes.
Weaver guy just had a field day. It was Horn and Hunter the week before and Edwards, and this week it was Weaver.
He had like 140, I think, receiving. Hunter had 78, I think, receiving on like 6 catches for 78 yards.
And Colorado's defense played better. I did not think they played well against TCU, but they did play better.
They
yesterday.
may have been nervous on traveling.
But Sims did hurt Nebraska. Yes. Yeah, and our host was like, if they put him back in, I'm walking out and not watching anymore. And I'm like, well, were you supposed to stay here? Because they put him right back in. And fans were very upset with that. They wanted to go away from him. And you said late in the game he did pull him, right?
Hey, which one?
Yeah,
Nebraska. Yeah, they did. They put in the little young white guy. He's okay. Wouldn't.
Well, I told Brent, well, we just give a cat out of bag, where it was. But everybody knows who the Nebraska fan is.
He's not real good at not saying stuff. Well, player of the week, over here at Spring Garden. Damn, I just told who it was.
Well, if everybody don't know, he's the only Nebraska fan.
Yeah, anywhere in North Alabama.
Yeah, anywhere.
Maybe in the state in general.
I don't know of anybody else that pulls for Nebraska. But, dang, I forgot what I was going to say.
58 yards rushing for Colorado. That's something that's going to have to be addressed.
They have 450 yards.
They're going to have to be able to run the football.
You can't throw the ball 50 times a game. I mean, what you say, well, they're 2-0, but I mean, they're not beating world beaters.
But
I told Brent, I said, maybe Nebraska's backup quarterback's terrible.
9 for 18 on third downs. That's, 50-50. Nebraska was 4 for 13. That's about, but they were 0 for 2 on fourth down conversions. I look at those little things like that.
How many yards did Nebraska end up with?
341.
That's not really a high mark.
They passed for 120 and rushed for 222. So
their running back's good.
He is good.
He's very good.
I like some of their receivers. Matt's going to have he's going to have a time, with that. But hey, hats off to Shedeur and Coach Sanders. Colorado's winning right along, and they'll have Colorado State this week. So look for them to be 3-0 going into Oregon.
Yeah. Hey, and Sanders really lit them up late. I mean, I don't know if he had 150 yards passing till late in the third quarter, and he finished with what, 393?
Yeah.
I mean, he lit them up late.
Yeah. I don't. I picked them to win 5 games, and I said that I'll stick to my guns. On that.
I don't know if we can stick to them no more. I picked them to win 4.
To be you got to stick to what you pick. And I'm just going to stick with 5. We'll see how it all lays out. But now I can add that they may win 7. When you go back and look at their schedule,
I think they could win 7. Somebody asked me yesterday, you don't think they'll beat Oregon and Utah? I'm like, no. Somebody's going to – guys, Nebraska and TCU, no disrespect, aren't even in the top 25.
No. So Colorado's, we're going to be talking about them for at least through next week. And then when they get Oregon,
that's going to be a big game.
We'll find out if look, and I said this last week, can they win? We had a little 10-minute spot about Colorado. Can they beat these other teams, by having a shootout? Because they're not going to play great defense. I mean, Colorado give up over 200 on rushing from Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
So how's Oregon and USC, how are they going to do?
USC has just been hammering folks since they got on them for only beating San Jose 28. They've just been laying it down. But they've not played a tough schedule. They played Stanford, San Jose, and Fresno, I think.
But the Pac-12, they are, as we talked about this summer, we did a whole spot on from Dante Moore at UCLA to Penix at Washington to Bo Nix at Oregon, and of course Cam's at Utah. We knew that they were going to have some quarterback play. And now Colorado, we didn't have Shedeur on that list.
Oh no, I didn't. I think I said he wouldn't do good.
Yeah, I figured they would be okay, but man, I didn't think he's going to come out and average 400 yards a game.
Somebody asked me, is he on the Heisman list? I'm like, it's a little too early to put him on the Heisman
list. He is. Absolutely.
But, you got to see what they do. They play Oregon, Utah, USC. Let's see what he does. At least.
For an early Heisman pick, yeah, it would be foolish to not put him on there. Would be like, well, how could you not? He's averaging 400 yards.
I don't even think they ought to start talking about that stuff.
Well, they don't. But but like top 25.
Yeah.
We'll pull that up here in a minute, show the top 10.
Yeah.
What does it matter?
For that.
It's too early. Tennessee Vols go up there and win. They have App. They wound up with a total of 456 yards. They rushed for 228 against App, but they held them to 79 yards, which is something they should do. Just want to bring up some of their stats. 3 for 12 on third downs. But again, passing, and Milton is going to be okay. Tennessee fans, don't go burn your house down yet. And see, we're back in the SEC again. You hear my tone of voice. It took a while for them to get in there and pull away from them. Guys, so again, like I started with, Auburn fans, don't burn me out yet. I'm across the conference. It's just kind of a dribble.
Yeah, well, you had, like we said on the scores, Miami beat A&M. Mississippi State had to go to overtime to beat Arizona. Missouri barely beats MTSU. Kentucky barely wins.
Here's a good game. I watched a lot of it. Miami Hurricanes, the U, 48-33 over A&M.
Wow, that was a good one.
Miami winds up with 450 total, and A&M had 433. This game was close all the way through the third quarter. Towards the end of the third, Miami has started pulling away with it, and a turnover, and they fumbled the ball down there from a ferocious hit on the running back. And it just kind of turned – it just like the kids just – you know how things like that will get a team up?
Oh, yeah.
It just did, man. And obviously Cristobal's doing a good job, and he's got things turned around. And, for Miami to come in, they kind of pulled – this game was not – the score, if you just see the score, you go, well, Fisher's trash.
All right, it wasn't a beatdown.
They pulled away later in the game. They were ahead, the first half of the game, it was close. It's kind of back and forth for a little while. So, but, again, these media people have built up A&M and put them, where they have them ranked, like
23rd.
22, 23.
Why? Nobody, I don't, they went 5-7 last year and lost their best player.
Petrino calling plays, obviously. I thought the play calling was pretty good.
Well, yeah, but he can be a good play caller, but, you still got to have the people. I don't understand people. Petrino's calling plays. So, what does that mean?
Miami even had over 100 yards in penalties. Now, I'll tell you one thing. You're talking about somebody to check your oil and rotate your tires.
Yeah.
Miami. The boys were laying the wood. The first half of the game, they were thumping pads with them.
Their quarterback's good.
I've always liked Van Dyke. I've always thought he's kind of been underrated. I thought he never really got a chance.
What did he throw for yesterday? 375?
Yeah, 375.
Wow. I don't maybe Miami's back. I mean, maybe it's not time to get down on A&M.
Well,
Miami's not garbage.
That's the thing. We're at that part of the year where, can we tell if is Miami, are they back, or is A&M just going to be another 5-win team this year, or what's Jimbo got going on?
I predicted them to go about 5-7, 6-6. Oh, Matt, seriously.
Yes.
Oh, our picks, right quick. You told me to check that.
Yeah, look, holler them out, and
All right.
We'll get into Alabama and Texas.
Nebraska. I picked Nebraska. You picked
I had Colorado.
Colorado. So you're 1-0. I'm 0-1. We both picked Ole Miss. That was a good game.
It was.
You're 2-0. I'm 1-1. I picked Miami. You picked A&M.
Missed that one.
We're both 2-1. I picked Oregon. You picked Texas Tech.
Yeah, I had to try to believe in the guys.
3-1, 2-2. We both lost to Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
That's about 3-3 for us. We both picked Auburn, 4-3. And you had Vandy, I had Wake Forest. So we went